We are 103.9 WDKX, a great podcast discussion, the remix with Tariq Spence. We're doing it just in time for Mental Health Awareness Month in the month of May. May 21st is the day you need to put on your calendar because it's an evening with Damaris Rivera. Hello, how are you?
I'm doing well.
And you brought some friends with us, the best?
I did. The best in Rochester.
I guess so. Kimberly and Greg joined us here on the show. We're going to get to what this is really all about. Damaris, it's good to be back here at WDKX. Good to have you back.
Thanks for having
and you're
me.
back into music now?
I am starting back into music.
Okay.
This is pretty much my launch back into the industry in a different light and more mature. And really excited to bring my voice back to the community and eventually share a project.
Yeah, this is going to be great. Now, talk a bit about it. It is May 1st. What is going on with an evening with Damaris Rivera? And then I'll get into what Kim and Greg had talked about.
Yeah, so the whole intention around the evening was to create a musical experience that would bring light about mental health and music therapy. And for me as an artist, I've been away from the limelight for a very long time, and I felt like it was time for me to use my platform in a positive way and bring impact to this very important idea and mental health and bring awareness. So why not this time?
It's so interesting. So in setting up the interview and having this discussion, Kimberly and Greg join us now. Can you talk a little bit about your sort of program or foundation, or what is helping? What is this theme of now discussing with mental health, using music as therapy? What is it about?
Yeah, so I am a certified music therapist, and I work with people every day around their mental health, around their physical health. Most of my work is in hospice care, and it's all about using music as the method to help people feel better, reach their goals, strengthen their bonds with one another, whatnot. And then my husband, Greg, we combine forces because he's a producer. And so, excuse me, we created this brand, Music Can Help, to kind of bring to light music as therapy. Like, we all know music is therapeutic, but how can we remember that and use it in our own lives? So with my expertise as a music therapist, knowing the science behind music and the brain and the neurology about, how does our body and our mental health and everything like that respond to music? So bringing that together with the production side, we're offering a big event for the community of Rochester to remember to turn to music for mental health.
It's interesting. We're watching a show, and they're talking a bit about using music therapy to help people who have gone through everything from traumatic experience to dementia, Alzheimer's. It's really become something that a lot of people are into now. Why do you think there's this uptake in sort of seeing music as a way of therapy?
Yeah, it's funny because music therapy's been around a long time. So it's been around since 1950. After the World Wars, musicians would go to the hospitals and play music for these patients. And the staff was like, oh, patients are doing better, but we want these musicians to have more training because they're walking into folks with PTSD, with physical wounds. We want them to know a little more of the science and the medical behind what's happening. And so 1950 was when music therapy became a profession. I feel like it's just kind of coming to the forefront more now because we're all connected to art in a different way. And more than ever before with the access, on Spotify and the rise of the artists who are talking about mental health and using music for their mental health. So it's kind of just in the conversation.
Yeah. It's interesting.
But it really does. Music can help anyone and everyone. One really interesting thing is people are always like, well, what music is best? And I'm like, well, that's a good question. But honestly, there is no one prescribed music for one prescribed ailment. Actually, the research shows that the music that helps us feel better is the music we like. Go figure.
The great part about I like it all. I mean, I like 80s, I like 90s, I like hip hop, I like pop, I like jazz. I'm not in one sort of category. Although I will say this though, if I'm in a terrible mood, I am channel surfing to find the right algorithm of a song to make me feel better. I wanted to get your thoughts on this, Greg. As somebody who's doing production, you do production in this. What is sort of your play in it, other than making the sound of Demadis Rivera's event that you guys are putting together with her sounding perfect? What is your sort of play in all this?
So for me, music is always the thing that gave me a place to belong. It was, I grew up with a lot of depression, and then in my 20s ended up with PTSD from traumatic events in my own life. We're talking about Mental Health Month, obviously. And so I lost a few people to suicide, and that really changed me as a human being. And I really needed to find ways to have the outlet in the healthiest way possible. And so I went to school for music, which is how Kim and I met. And after getting that education and learning a lot I was in a jazz program at Nazareth College and music industry there. I really felt this connection to I had a great professor who helped me see how to bring these emotions into this art form and really help people visualize and deal with things at another level. And then after meeting Demadis on a gig nearly 10 years ago, which is really weird to think about, my gosh, we're old. I realized, I don't know, we just really hit it off. And I could see that this isn't just somebody who is a good musician. This is a good human to the core. And I want to work with people like that and help others be able to experience their fullest self as a musician. So I like to do that for artists, but then for the public, I like to create experiences with artists to make it really inviting and really powerful. And for some reason I happen to get to do that. It's weird, and I'm so happy that I get to.
It feels like a rewarding factor in all of this. You get to work with people that really are good natured, and it's always great to see you. I haven't seen you in such a long time.
I know. I don't want to say how long.
I know. So don't feel bad, Greg. Trust me. It's been a minute, but can we talk a little bit about, because this is like the first step for you to getting back into doing more music. What brought you back? What was it that decided?
That's a loaded question.
Because you were young.
13 on the radio.
When you first start, we're still playing those songs.
I know.
You and Timothy Mitchum rule Christmas in Rochester.
Yes, that Christmas album is epic.
And it's been around for I don't want to even say decades, but it's closing in on it. But at any rate, what is it now that brings you back? Because you're not 13 anymore.
No, and the industry is completely different.
Mm-hmm.
So, when I had songs on the radio and released music, it was people experiencing music. And then I, went on and had life and have an amazing career in business. But then I kind of stepped back from music. And due to some issues and some challenges that I had in life, I started to dislike music. So, with some, depression and things like that, I didn't want to hear music. And someone that grew up, in church with music, have always had my passion be music. I took time away from not even listening to music.
Wow.
And the thought of pursuing music again, or being on a stage where everyone in society now has access for recording you. Everything is instant, so everyone wants to see what you're doing all the time and access to your life. It was really scary for me to think about coming back into music.
Wow.
So something a few years ago just clicked with music again, and I actually got reconnected with the artist Kehlani. So I had heard her music, and I was there was a song called Border. And it that switch, just like that. Yeah.
Wow.
And I talked to Greg about it, and I said, this next project is going to happen organically. This concert came up because I said, I want to support your mission and what you're doing because it's so powerful and it impacts every single individual. How can I do that? And with my voice as a businesswoman, I felt like this was time. The mayor asked me to do the inauguration this year. And I think that's what kind of put a little, push in me to say, I got on stage, I did the performance, and I said, you know what, I can do this. I can get away from the fear of people judging me in a different phase of life, more mature. not being the 13-year-old on Alone This Christmas, and just to be able to put out music that I'm proud of. And I think that just will help people to maybe do the same thing like I did, is find music again and find that passion, and find a healthy way to deal with those struggles in life and those challenges, and not feel like you're alone. I've met my circle and my family in music that I feel safe. And I know that anything that I do with Greg and Kim, I'm going to make a big impact and have great people behind me. And that makes a big difference.
That's it.
And DKX. So whatever. So whenever I do, release, no pressure on myself or anybody that's involved. But when I do release, this will be my first stop.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, as always.
Yes.
I wanted to get back to you, Kim. Talk a little bit about the event. It'll be on the 21st. Where can people go to get tickets? How do they find out more about an evening with Demonis Rivera?
Yeah, so you can go to musiccanhelp.us/event. And that's all the information on the event. That's where you can get tickets. If there are sponsors out there that want to support our mission, that same page, you can find the information. And the really cool thing is it's supporting kind of like a couple different things. So we have the event itself, and I think that's going to be an amazing center for our community to come together to just like experience this after a long time. Like, we experienced COVID, we've been separated, and now we're finally coming back together. And there's so much research and science behind the impact of music and bringing us together as community. Not only the brain science, but then just that social connection. So we have the event, and then we are supporting local community groups. So Greg and I will be teaming up for this because usually music therapy is in like a medical or educational setting. So music therapists across Rochester, there's about 70 of us. We're mostly in the schools working with children with various disabilities and autism. There are many music therapists working in elder care with dementia, memory loss, end of life. And then there's music therapists in the hospitals working with, everyone from cancer patients to NICU babies. And then music therapists in mental health. So like the Rochester Psych Center has a couple music therapists, and then some music therapists in their own practices. And so we wanted to support music therapists across Rochester and the whole New York State. And so I started the New York State Association for Music Therapy to be this bridge between these professionals doing this amazing work and the public finding out about it.
Yeah.
And then also just sustaining their careers, because it's a very challenging career to be a part of. Not to mention just the advocacy involved and explaining what it is we do. So we're raising money for this association to launch, and we're kind of celebrating the launch. Earlier that day, we're doing a workshop for the professional music therapists. And then we're supporting those community groups local to Rochester to kind of support the everyday person who's not getting music therapy in the hospital for cancer, or whose child isn't getting music therapy in schools for autism. It's like, no, this is just for you. This is for everyone who listens to WDKX. This is for you to experience music as wellness with other people in community for your mental health.
It's interesting. We have Mental Health Matters. We talk about it every Wednesday morning at 10 o'clock. We have a therapist that talks in about it. And it's been something that I think has been tabooish to talk about across multiple communities. I don't just mean just city. I don't think it's just suburbs. I don't think it's money. I don't think it's lack of money. I think it's just been this barrier growing up in a generation where we've never really had the comfort to have this conversation, or use all the different techniques that are available to help people who have suffered for such a long time. One last plug, where do I get tickets? When is the event? May 21st, I know I've said it a few times.
May 21st, musiccanhelp.us/event.
Please support this event. We are 103.9 WDKX. Thank you for making us part of your day.